So guys, today we are starting a brand new series here on the channel where I'm going to be breaking down your gameplay and going through all the pros and the cons, pretty much picking apart all the stuff you've done well, as well as the stuff you haven't done well and can improve on in future gameplay to help not only you guys, but even myself get better at the game and therefore just enjoy the game more overall. Now, some of these episodes will be my own gameplay, but like I said, the majority of them will be from you guys. If you want to submit your own gameplay to be broken down here on the channel, all you need to do is head to the top link in the description. That will take you to a Google form that you just need to fill out. Very simple, and that'll give you guys a chance to have your gameplay broken down here on the channel. And on top of that, there is also a tier in my Patreon that guarantees that will be the case. So if you are a member of that tier, you will be guaranteed to be shown on the channel at some point and have your gameplay broken down. Now, this gameplay for today's episode is from my good friend Vic, who is also an editor here on the channel. I've told him to be the guinea pig for the very first episode. The next episode will then be my own gameplay, and then the third episode will be my other editor and good friend in Mark. And from there on out, the gameplay will come from all the submissions you guys submit to me through that link, like I said. So without wasting any time, let's get stuck right into it, watching some gameplay here from my good friend Vic. Now, firstly, starting off with Vic's loadout, he is playing the medium class here. He's also playing with another one of our good friends in Saldair, who's also playing the medium class. His loadout, as you can see here, he's got the healing beam, the AKM, the pyro grenade, the jump pad, and the defib. That's a really solid loadout. It's pretty much exactly what I run, except I just run the gas instead of the pyro. That being said, pyro is potentially better because most people do run gas, and if you guys didn't know, the pyro actually counters out the gas. If there's gas and you throw that grenade in the gas, it will just clear off the gas. So very solid loadout there from Vic. And without wasting any time, let's jump into the game. We're going to just fast forward to the first actual gunfight because obviously sprinting to the objective is not really helpful for anyone to watch. Now, as you can see, the objective is actually up in the top of this building, but you'll notice that Vic is actually not going straight for that. He's pretty much going for the first gunfight. That's often a good thing to do. You'll see in a second that his teammate has gone pretty much directly to the objective, and he's instead gone to kind of disrupt this gunfight. You can hear that there are gunshots, so the enemy teams are actually fighting, and he's kind of just getting a little bit involved in that. And as you can see, his teammate has started that objective anyway. Now, attempt of a jump up there, and then he's tried to pick it up. I've done that so many times, trying to pick it up and essentially jumping accidentally on it. Now, as you can see, the enemy drops down out of nowhere. He dies, but he does get picked up by his teammate. There's not really too much you can do there. You're not gonna... If someone gets a jump on you like that, you're not really gonna win that gunfight, considering he was already damaged from the gas, I believe. Now, Saldair has gone down here. Some good shots from Vic at range there. One thing you'll notice here, instantly pulls out the healing beam after the revive with the defib. That is something you guys always want to be doing. Essentially, you just don't gain all of your health back, or you don't give the teammate all of their health back when you use the defib. Now, something that's worth keeping in mind here is, as you can see, over in this direction, there is an enemy that has, I guess, seen... Like, if we go back a little bit here, that was actually barriered up. I don't know how he's necessarily seen out of that, but it would be because Saldair is carrying the objective. So he has spotted Saldair through that wall there. And as you can see, he's shooting at Saldair, trying to take her out. Now, what happens in this instance here is that Vic runs straight for the gunfight, getting right in and amongst the... pretty much running directly to the window. Now, he luckily gets the kill. The guy was half health, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. What I would do here is, as soon as you've seen this guy shooting, I would try to create a bit of distance from you to the guy himself. So, for example, from here, but then also creating a bit of distance from yourself to Saldair, because he is obviously targeting Saldair. She's got the objective, like she's obviously the target. As you can see here, he does stay relatively close, and he only notices a little bit after that, and then this guy's focus is on him. So if we go back a little bit here, once you've noticed that the guy's shooting, I would essentially start strafing in that direction to try and then create a bit of distance from Saldair so that she can get away with the objective. Because if Vic dies here, it's not the end of the world, considering they're trying to get the objective. Keep in mind, this is just a casual game. It's not a tournament. So dying doesn't really matter as much in this. And so that's really the only difference I would have here in this gameplay. Now, obviously, it didn't matter. He got the kill anyway, but charging up to the window can, if this guy was full health, he would definitely have deleted Vic because he's a heavy. You know, medium or a light, that play actually probably works, but creating a bit of distance there would have essentially made Saldair safe. Now, they get in a bit of pickle with gas, so it's a bit of a tough situation here. We've run into a situation where, as you can see, there is 2 enemies in front of Vic, and I do this all the time when you don't really know which one to shoot at. I find myself in that situation all the time, and what he's done is thrown a grenade. Now, what I would do here is, if we go back to where the res actually happens, right here you can see that he's got that res off, and now there's 2 enemies. 2 Vics right over here, there is actually a window that I would have probably jumped through to just get away, because as you'll see in just a second, Vic's teammates actually go down. He sort of got himself into a bit of a pickle here, throwing the grenade. Now, to be fair, that actually blocks that guy off a little bit, which is not that bad of an idea. But as you can see right here, this is a window that you potentially could jump through. Now, he actually hit some good shots on that guy, and unfortunately, the other guy comes back. So, a team wipe there. It was one of them situations where it's very easy in hindsight to say, you know, his teammates are both, where's the actual moment they die, right? They're alive here. He's in the gunfight, and then all of a sudden, both teammates are dead. It is very easy to say, oh, you should run and try and survive that situation. But at the end of the day, this is all happening in a matter of seconds. So in hindsight, run away and try and survive. But obviously in the heat of that gunfight, it's a very hard thing to do, to notice that your teammates have gone down. Now, if we just fast forward from the respawn, because obviously you don't need to watch them get all the way back to the objective. This section's actually really interesting because Vic does die here, but it actually works out really well. He distracts the enemy team, at which point his teammate steals the objective and runs away with it. So some decent shots here. The only thing I would say is a bit of hip fire is probably going to cause you to win that gunfight. The death initially seemed like it wasn't a good one, but as you can see, the teammate has actually somehow gotten away with the objective. So it's not that bad of an idea to do that. If you're, obviously it depends if you're in communication with your teammates or not, because otherwise this guy might not have had that idea. And as you can see, he's kind of made a mess of that. But he does get the objective in. And Vic actually has a really good idea here to take down. Something you always want to be doing is taking down these zip lines when you're on the suspended structures maps. Just because it stops them getting up, and it means if they want to get the objective, they have to take it down. Now, as you can see, Vic tries to punch it, and I didn't know this, so that's actually the perfect example of why this series can be helpful. I did not know that from here you can't punch them. As you could see, he missed the first punch. I thought you could punch them. For those who don't know, it is much faster to melee these and take them down. So Vic actually had the right idea there, but it just turns out you can't hit them from that angle. So it's best to shoot them, I guess, from that position, or you may be able to crouch. And then it just turns out to be bad luck for Vic. Something goes wrong there too with the zip line. It just throws him off, so he may have got out of this situation. He does get some good shots there, but unfortunately dies. So the right intention there from Vic to take down that zip line, because obviously now that guy has got a way to get up the top, which if you can take those away, if an enemy team doesn't have objectives, they can't really do too much to bring these objectives down. Now we'll get back to when Vic respawns, and he does respawn fairly close to the action. And as you can see, both his teammates are down, so it's a bit of a sticky situation to be in when you've just respawned and everyone's kind of dead. He does the right thing. He revives Saldair again and then instantly hits her with the heal beam, which, like I said, whenever you can, you should always be doing that. But it's obviously, sometimes you're in a pickle and it's not really ideal to do. Now, you can hear that the enemy team's stealing. You get some very good shots off there, but unfortunately the goo, that was a really good goo placement from the enemy team, because he would have got that kill, and then just a bit of bad luck with the heavy here. Some decent pressure. The only thing I would say is when he's in this gunfight, oh no, the other teammate is alive. Okay, I was going to say it's worth surviving until the other teammate's back, but he did actually get back a fair bit earlier, so I'll take that back. A bit of point presence is not bad when, as you can see by how much time is left there's not much time, so they may as well send it. In a non-tournament, you may as well just send it on the objectives. So it might have seemed like a stupid thing to do to run in there. In a tournament, you wouldn't want to do that, but there's not that much time to get the steal here, so they may as well all go for it. And unfortunately, another team wipe. Now, if we fast forward once again to when they get back, as you can see, they charge in. The orange team has now come back, so purple must be team wiped at this point. A rough timing on the reload there that just happened to be the worst timing. Now, one thing I want you guys to pay attention to here is there do be a mine right there. So the only thing I would say in this situation is just a little bit of like awareness around that mine. You can clearly see that it's there, or his hand keeps getting in the way. But if we watch this back now that you know that, you can notice the mine's there. Unfortunately, the mine does end up getting the kill here because I guess Vic just wasn't aware of it. So that's one thing that's always, like, mines are very prevalent in this game. It's one thing to always pay attention to. Now, Saldair here has a great idea of healing while the teammate is rezzing in the gas. That's the perfect way to do it. For those who don't know, the tick rate of the gas is the exact tick rate of the healing beam. So you can tank all damage in the gas, provided there's not any other elements in there as well. Unfortunately, they've lost that first one. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't really matter about the first one. And as you can see now, they're gearing up to get the second vault. Now, what I will say in this section, Vic has some good awareness. I nearly said awareness to hear the enemies coming from this direction. Now, as you can see, there is an enemy here that is about to enter into the building. And the thing with this situation is Vic is in a very good spot on the top of the rooftop. You don't want to be giving up high ground. So as you can see in this clip here, Vic decides to jump down, pretty much giving up the high ground. So in other games like Call of Duty and stuff, I would do the exact same thing. I'm the type of player that just sends it most of the time. But as you can see, it's put Vic in a pretty precarious situation. He's now in a 1v1v1. And then he actually does the right thing trying to escape there, but unfortunately dies. So the main thing, if we go back to this spot right here, is to just keep the high ground. At worst, when you jump down, we see this ledge right here. You can potentially jump onto that, and you're still going to have some level of high ground, but it is best to just stay on the roof. The objective is closer to the roof than the ground. So in that situation, it's not worth getting the kill. As you can see, it's just a bit of a sticky situation. Whereas those players would have just killed each other and Vic would be still completely safe up the top. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Pretty much never give up the high ground unless you obviously completely have to. If they're going to win in that moment or something, then that's obviously different. But in that type of situation, there's no immediate rush to get that objective or anything. It's just not worth giving up that high ground for that situation. Now, they eventually respawn, and funnily enough, the objective has still not been taken. So obviously a bit of chaos went down while they were dead. And here you can see Vic is actually playing this smart, taking the high ground until he knows that there's no one up there, because now he knows there's obviously gunfights going on downstairs because his teammates are taking damage. Good shots there on the heavy. That is not an easy, I wouldn't say gunfight necessarily to win, because it's not really a gunfight, but going up against the heavy with a sledgehammer is never an easy thing. But good shots there from Vic. And then healing his teammates before they move out. It's all very solid team play from there. I've played with Vic a lot of times, and not just in this game, but every other game. He's a very team-oriented player, so you always know with Vic he's going to help out with the heals and stuff. Now, this moment right here, I want to go back to this first frame right here. Now, you can see that there is an orange player here. It's very hard to see in this exact frame, but you'll see it in a second. There's two orange players there. And if we go back and watch this from, I guess, before that happens, the time that it takes for Vic to essentially make a decision on what to do, you can see he still hasn't decided to do anything. And then at that point, he enters into the gunfight. So the only thing I would say here is just like, realistically in this game, it's obviously very competitive and you want to always just be scanning your screen, trying to look out for enemies at all times. At this point, he should see this guy going up there. Now, a lot of people will target this guy going up the zipline, which makes sense. He's borderline defenseless up there. You can't really be as effective when you're on a zipline because you're a very easy target. A lot of people will target that player instead. The best option is by far targeting this player because he's an immediate threat to Vic. So if we watch this back, even from here, you can still see that guy just there. Let this guy go up there. Your teammate's also gone up with him. So there's also a purple, the purple team has got the objective. So there's got to be a purple player up there. There's an orange player just here and a blue player just here. There's just going to be a bit of chaos going up there. It is much smarter to try and focus on this guy, which he does, and he gets the kill on him. But doing that a little bit earlier would have saved him essentially half of his health here. Now, at this point, there is then a little bit of audio awareness. So I don't know if you guys can hear. I'll try and turn the audio up in the actual video. Listen to this gameplay and just see if you can hear to the left of Vic. There are gunshots going off to his left there, and as you can see, Saldair is taking damage right here. So there is an enemy over here that Vic should have been able to hear. Now, keep in mind, these guys might be in a party chat, so obviously when you're talking, you can't hear as well. But just having the awareness to hear this guy over here, it ends up not being an issue because he just runs over and gets an immediate kill on him, as you can see. But in that situation, that was also a heavy. If that heavy was full health, he's probably going to win that gunfight. Now, his teammate's gone up there. He's about to follow, as you can see, but then this little sweatbag tries to pretty much throw him off with the cloak. He goes and gets a good revive. Unfortunately, just dies. That was actually a really good decision from here, right? Just try and get out of that situation. When you've lost someone with a cloak, just run. It is absolutely worth it. And then as you can see, he just does the right thing, reses his teammate. And then unfortunately, it's just a bit of a tough situation. The only thing I would do differently in this situation is potentially from here. You know that guy with the cloak will have probably seen you run down there. So I would from here maybe grab the idol and then run around the side of this building before you actually hit the res. The flip side to that is that obviously hindsight is 20/20 because you could do that and then you could die and then your teammate's going to be thinking, why the hell didn't you just revive me? So it's one of those situations where realistically Vic was probably just going to die here and it's not really his fault necessarily. Almost no matter what he does in that situation, he's probably going to die just because of the way that situation has unfolded. Now, if we get back to when both Vic and Saldair respawn, this is a really, really effective play from Vic here, as well as realistically just the whole team. Now, if we watch this, once again, Orange team has got this and it's pretty close to them cashing it out. Vic actually decides to flank around to the right, which is absolutely the right play here. As you can see, he gets up behind someone. They have no idea that he's there. He gets the easy kill. The thing I want you guys to pay attention to here is that one teammate is up here. Saldair is over here pushing down from where Vic originally came from. And then obviously Vic is in this situation. This means that they've got line of sight from that direction, and that direction. This purple team never stood a chance in this situation because they've actually spread themselves out so perfectly that even if this guy kills Vic, there's still two other people that can see him from different angles. So even if he then flicks to Saldair and tries to get the kill, the other dude's still probably going to kill him anyway. So very, very solid flank there from Vic. And as you can see, good shots as well, getting some headshots there. And then on top of that, he gets that kill, which all of these would not have happened if Vic had have gone like from here. If he had have just beelined it straight to the objective, he wouldn't have got those kills because these guys were all on the other side of all this rubble. So that was the perfect play there from Vic to just get behind. And as you can see, he cleans up 3 pretty easy kills here. He just puts himself in a position that it's not luck that they're easy. He's done that. They're easy kills because he's earned them, if that makes sense. So they get the steal here. Very, very effective play And then at this point, it doesn't matter that that guy's trying to steal. Vic does the right thing, chucks the flame or the pyro grenade on it. No one can steal it at that point. Good shots. Saldair's healing the teammate. They've just done that pretty much as perfectly as you can. So that right there is a really prime example of how you should be attacking those situations. And as you can see at this point, none of what happens after you've got the steal matters. If they had got team wiped there, it does not matter whatsoever. And then they heal up and move on to the next objective. So very good plays there from the team. That is the prime example of how you should attack those situations. A lot of people just all run in at once, and it maybe works inside of a building, but in that situation where it's a bit more of an open, you know, an open objective, it's not really going to work that much. Now, Vic's playing around here with the cat emoji. Now, this play right there, if we go back to this actually was the right idea to put the jump pad down and get onto the roof. One thing I want you guys to notice is this purple player right here. Now, in a second, you're going to see Vic has the right idea, getting the high ground on this guy. He's got the shots, perfect angle. Obviously, it's a bit hard to hit shots from directly above, but this guy's not going to be able to shoot Vic at all. Now, in a second, Vic starts taking damage from that direction, from the purple guy that I just mentioned. And because Vic doesn't know where he is, Vic kind of makes the right play in just getting out of the situation, but unfortunately he jumps down straight into it, and then he's got two people right on top of him. So what I would do here is, as you can see when he jumps up, if we go back a few frames, there is obviously this chimney that can be used as cover. There's then also like obviously the other side of the roof that if you're getting shot from this roof over here, you can obviously hide behind the other side of the roof. So that's the only difference I would do in that situation, is just being aware of, I guess, all of your potential, you know, pieces of cover that you can make the most of. Because like I said, as soon as he's taking damage, it is the right idea to just give up on that gunfight. You don't want to just keep shooting because Vic will just die. But instead of jumping down onto this guy, you should be either using that cover that I just mentioned, or even jumping onto the jump pad and pretty much going like down onto that and then back up onto the other roof, for example. That can work as well. But this situation, unfortunately, ends in Vic jumping down to his demise. And then this dude shooting his dead body, I think he's super salty that Vic shot him in the ass when he was trying to steal the last objective. I think Vic's looking at his scoreboard right now thinking, why was that guy shoot me? He's a fucking NPC. But clearly Vic's doing something right when the dude's shooting his dead body. You know when you've rattled someone, you're doing something correct. So Vic gets back into it here. If we just fast forward back to the next gunfight, you can see that he gets the res off on Saldair. There's still a lot of people around this area. The objective still has not been taken. He's trying to sort of gauge where the enemies are. He can hear footsteps around here, and then goes to heal Saldair, which is probably the right place. She's very, very low on health. There's, as you can see, the objective is up here. It does take Vic a little while to actually notice, so you could potentially turn earlier and get some shots. He's in the midst of healing, so it's obviously not that big of a deal. And then a bit of an unlucky situation. That guy just comes out of nowhere. Mid reload, you just can't. There's nothing you can do in that situation. You can't even run away at that point. Vic has the right idea here, trying to just escape. When you've been revived in that type of situation where you know there's enemies just like all around you, it is 100% worth doing this, where you've just gone, nah, I'm getting the absolute fuck out of that room. Because as you can see, his teammates have now died. So he made the right play getting out of there. The only thing I'll say with this is, if you're going to get out, you've got to commit to it, because now this guy comes through and ends up getting the team wipe. Nearly took him out there with a few headshots, but unfortunately he gets the kill on Vic. So in that situation, I would just commit to running away. It is worth it, especially in a tournament. Team wipes obviously take off 30% of your income in the tournament. So yeah, that's the only difference I'd make there. He had the right idea initially, and then he, to be fair, sort of had the thought of going back to save his teammates. But yeah, if you're gonna run away, you've almost got to commit to it. I'll turn the audio up here again. Listen out for an audio cue here. As you can see, he's now getting shot. You could just hear very, very briefly a cloak audio cue. So once again, that's just a bit of audio awareness, just hearing. We know that no one on his team has got the cloak, so it's not his teammates. As soon as you hear that noise, get the absolute fuck out of there. Or at least just have your head on a swivel, just trying to find that enemy. They're obviously very hard to see with the cloak on, but that's the only thing I can really point out there is just the audio cues once again. As I mentioned, Vic and Saldair were most likely in a party chat, so sometimes you just, when you're talking and hearing your teammates, you sometimes just can't hear that stuff. So now they spawn back in, and once again, orange team almost has that captured. The whole purple team's down there, but then obviously orange has dropped down too. So Vic does the right thing here. He's kind of getting into the action, but not full sending. He's staying on the kind of outskirts of that gunfight. And as you can see, it absolutely works out because they end up getting the team wipe on both teams. If you guys didn't know, you can see up in the top left here the 10-second timer and the 17-second timer. Apologies for the worst arrows that you've ever seen. That means that those teams are wiped out. So they've got the team wipe here on both teams. That means they are guaranteed to win this game, essentially. And as you can see, they go in, Vic gets the steal, completely safe. They've got the goo around them, and there is a turret, but everyone else is dead. So they get the steal there, and it's too late. Like at this point, they're not going to respawn in time. So they pretty much guaranteed the win. Now, to use this as an example, obviously for this match, it didn't matter. You can see here that Vic's going to throw the pyro on that to try and cover it. Like I said, it doesn't really matter because there wasn't going to be enough time for them to steal it anyway. If this was a situation where you can, like, there is enough time for the enemies to steal it, instead of standing so close to this, I would essentially get out of that area, stay close enough that if someone goes to steal it, you can jump on it and take them out. But being right on the objective like that, obviously, in this situation didn't matter. But in an actual, halfway through the objective, you want to almost get away from that objective so that enemies will push in and you're on the outskirts already, similar to how they were when they were actually getting the kills before that. But overall, a very solid game from Vic there. He had 8,500 damage, which is a very solid amount. A lot of support score as well. So very solid gameplay from Vic there. A lot of good stuff to learn, a lot of stuff where Vic can definitely improve, and I think we can all improve. There's stuff in all of these videos that we're going to be able to learn, even from the negative stuff as well as the good stuff too. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to learn a hell of a lot from this series as well, just watching other people play and learning how other people do it. So that is going to do it for the very first episode, guys. Like I said, be sure to leave some feedback if you want these to be, like, this has gone on a little bit longer than I thought it would. So if you want these to be a little shorter, or however, any changes that you guys want, be sure to let me know. It's obviously a new series, so there is plenty of area for change and stuff like that. So let me know down below. Like I said, submit your own gameplay through the link in the description. There will be 2 more episodes that are myself and my other editor, and then after that, all of the gameplay will be coming from you guys. So get those submissions in. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there in the arena.